sinner is someone who is living in contradiction to the purpose and rhythm of the universe and of its maker. That's the definition that we're given in this book we're all reading together. I think it's a pretty good definition. And if that's the definition of what sin is, to live in contradiction to the purpose of the universe and to your purpose in the universe, then someone who's a saint must be the opposite of that. Someone who's living in the flow of the universe and the flow of the maker of the universe. Somebody who's figured out how to pay attention to the rhythms of God here in this place. The truth is, we are all saints and sinners. The truth is, we all have relationships with people who have saintly moments and sinner moments. And the truth is, there is alleluia to be found in all of those places and relationships. That's what we're focusing on this morning. So as we prepare for the word preached, would you join with me your hearts and minds in prayer? Oh God, may the words of my mouth and the meditations of each of our hearts be found acceptable in your sight. For you are our rock and our Redeemer. Amen. It's not that Moses started out to be a saint. He was just a little Hebrew boy. His mama put him in a basket and floated him down the river so he wouldn't be slaughtered. He just happened to be found by someone who worked in Pharaoh's court. So he was taken home and made a prince. Through his adoption, he was made a prince in Egypt. Now, our story of Moses could end completely differently if Moses had made different choices. When the Hebrew people were enslaved, Moses could have turned a blind eye. He was a Hebrew by birth, but he had no experience with the Hebrew people, no real connection other than that was where he had come from. So he could have made other choices. He could have decided to look a different way. But he didn't. Instead, he claimed his birthright as and spoke truth to power, telling Pharaoh to let these people go. And then he led the people out of Egypt into the land that they were promised. And then in the story that Trevor read for us this morning, he ascends Mount Sinai, has a conversation with God, and then is able to bring down from the mountain this set of parameters within which the people will live their lives forever and ever and ever. Faithful people live their lives within these parameters that Moses brought down from Sinai. A saint indeed. He listened to the movement of God. He paid attention to that and made choices because of it. Now, Zacchaeus, on the other hand, Zacchaeus is a whole other story. When the Roman guard showed up in his town, he sold out. He decided to work for the occupying force and collected money that people didn't have to pay a government that didn't earn it. And he became rich on the backs of his people. I think that's living in contradiction to the direction of the universe, don't you? So then Jesus was coming to town one day, and Zacchaeus really, really wanted to see him. Now, it's not like Zacchaeus had a bunch of friends. It's not like he could call somebody up who lived on the parade route and say, "Can I come up to your balcony so I can see Jesus?" No, he couldn't do that. So he ran down the road, and he found a sycamore tree. And oh yeah, Trevor, come this way. And he decided to climb that sycamore tree so that he could see Jesus. And this is what is, yeah, I'm good. And this is what is so fascinating about this sinner and this saint, that they both have to ascend in order to find their alleluia moments. This is what sinners and saints have in common, that they give us a new perspective. That's solely where the alleluia is found in the lives of saints and sinners, is they give us a new perspective. I have a friend whose house is literally plastered with quotes and pictures of people who have changed the world. So she walks through her house and she sees a picture of Mother Teresa, or a quote by Martin Luther King Jr., or a picture of Gandhi, or a quote from somebody who did something to bring God's justice and mercy to this world. And those pictures and those quotes change her perspective. They give her Mount Sinai moments when she looks God in the face and figures out what she ought to do differently in life. The same is true for a friend that I have from back home. He's part of the recovery community, and he goes to several different anonymous meetings a week. There's one meeting in particular that he likes to go to, but none of his other friends like to go to, because that meeting seems to be really out of control. The people who go to that meeting always have some chaos, some self-created chaos happening in their lives. But he likes to go to that meeting because he always leaves grateful. Grateful that his mistakes are his, and that his mistakes are not their mistakes. It's the new perspective that he gets from claiming his sin and being able to listen to the honesty of other people who have made bad choices in their lives. This is the alleluia in being a saint and being a sinner. We arrive at moments in life when suddenly we have new sight. We see things in a different way, and we live our lives differently because of it. It's easy to do that when we're having saintly moments. When everything is going right, when we're making good choices, when we feel that we're living out the call that God has placed upon us, it's easy for us to find mountaintop experiences. It's harder when life gets harder. It's harder when we find ourselves making bad choice after bad choice, when we find ourselves not able to change, when we find ourselves hurting the people that we love, when we find ourselves sabotaging ourselves and our good fortune. But those moments, if they're not mountaintop moments, they're at least treetop moments. When we really desire to look God in the eye and to be reminded that we too are loved and that we too can move in new directions. We're loved for just being who we are, warts and all. I would invite you this morning in these next moments of quiet to think about your own experience with the saints and the sinners in your life. Your own experience as both a saint and a sinner. And to find that star that you were given whenever you walked into worship. And to write something of the alleluia moments that you have found in the midst of those relationships. And in the meantime, you can come and hold the ladder so I can get down. Thanks. The choir's prayers were answered. I didn't fall off the ladder. Let's be now together in some quiet meditation.